You're watching Moments with Jill Walker. Today I'm talking about self control. Why did I pick this subject called self control? Well, because it's a very important fruit of the Spirit that we need to use and operate in every single day. If you have small children, you know you need self control. If you live with just anybody else in your house, you need self control. If you see some situations that stir you in emotion, you need self control. I looked up the definition of self control, and it says moderation or self restraint in action. It's a statement. Self-control, that's what it is. Temperance is self-control. By the way, that definition was the definition of temperance, and it uses self-control, moderation, or self-restraint in action. Self-control, temperance. What does the Bible have to say about this subject called self-control? Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 and 23 mention the word temperance, Temperance. But that's also another word for self-control. 2 Peter 1, verses 5 and 6 also mentions that same word temperance or self-control. So you can find it in Galatians 5, 22 and 23, 2 Peter 1, verses 5 and 6. And there's many other verses in the Bible that talk about temperance or self-control. One I found in Proverbs was very good. It's in Proverbs chapter 25, verse 28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Let me repeat that verse again. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. We need self-control in our own life. Titus 1, verses 7 through 9 also mentions the word temperate or self-control. For time's sake, I'm not going to read all these verses that I've shared with you all the way through, but I'm just giving you some examples in the Bible that use the word temperate or temperance, meaning self-control. Recently, I received a text from a relative, and they were ranting over some political views that they wanted to share with me. I didn't instigate it. I'm innocent. I didn't instigate it. But as they were sharing that, I asked God for wisdom, how to react. Should I react back in self-defense? Or should I react back in a way that would not provoke that one to continue spilling out their rants and raves of how they didn't like a certain political piece of news that they were watching? Instead, I decided to take the higher road and to use self-control and to answer in a way that would not provoke that person to get more stirred up, but to calm that person down. Don't you think that's a good idea? That we react with self-control to not add flames to the fire, but to just bring peace into situations that seem chaotic or disturbing. I know that's what the Lord would want us to do. Self-control is a beautiful fruit of the Spirit. A lot of times Christians are wanting other fruits of the Spirit or even gifts of the Spirit, but they overlook self-control. only if some people, even our own selves in our past, would use self-control or would have used self-control, how the circumstances would have changed, possibly for the better and more positive. Aren't there situations that if you could relive them, you would have handled it a lot different with self-control? You wouldn't have said the things that you would have said then. Now, if you were given that opportunity, you wouldn't have reacted in the way you did in maybe physical. No, you wouldn't have, because as we grow closer to the Lord, He gives us the wisdom and He will help us with the self-control to use the right judgment in every situation, so He will be so proud of us. I always do, and I want you to say that with me, for I always do those things that please Him. John 8:29. You've been watching Moments with Jill Walker. God bless you today.